Sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
Something strange happened to me this morning.
Was it a dream where you see yourself standing in sort of sun god robes on a pyramid with 1,000 naked women screaming and throwing little pickles at you?
No.
Why am I the only person that has that dream?
That was really cool, by the way.
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said, I drank what?
You have nobody guarding your potatoes.
And you know, when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what?
I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things right now. Jack and shit. And Jack left town.
Nice. Nice. Not thrilling, but nice.
That was really cool, by the way.
Shop smart, shop S-smart.
Would you classify that as a launch problem or a design problem?
How, in the name of Zeus's butthole, did you get out of your cell?
This is my sister. You can all have her. I hear she's very good.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
All right. Who wants some? Who's next?
Well, here we are. That's right, it's us. How are you? Welcome back. Happy Wednesday. It's I guess I should have put a Hump Days with Hal logo on today or something like that. I think we should do that for every Wednesday. I don't know. I'll leave it up to you guys. It's hard to decide. Lots going on today. I literally, some days I like, when Trump goes into hiding or whatever, I'm like, I go scanning stuff to try and find things, where he maybe went on and called into some show or something like that. And I come up dry. And then there are days like yesterday where he just can't say enough stupid shit in public everywhere he goes. Like 10 different, thanks, Doc. He just can't find enough outlets to yell at, his gibberish. So he did like 3 interviews yesterday. Just standing out in the like Rose Garden area. I don't quite know what that section is. He does it in this one area, and there's only a couple of situations. Yes, Ab, everybody made it fine. Thanks very much. And he does those occasionally. Like he'll do little stand-up interviews, and he did one yesterday where it was CBN. And that's who he lets sit down. So the president will, do these little stand-up interviews, and then the ones that, if you're good enough, if you're Trumpy enough, if you're a true member of the team, you get to have a sit down with him in the exact same place where everybody else, I guess, has a 10-minute, stand up of it. Hi, Kristen. How are you? Hello, everybody. Hey, Richard. Good to see you, Jill. Jumpy, what's up? Hi, how are you? Batu, welcome. Hey, Rebecca. Hi, Diane. Yes, he had the Polish president today, and let me see if I can find this. This is I guess he did an interview with he did a full press conference. We're going to do that. But there was also a moment where, they had a little gaggle come in, and there was only like 3 minutes of them just kind of we're here, we're meeting, it's a little thing, we're in one of the big rooms, la-di-da, and Oval Office meeting, sit down, that kind of thing. And then they start telling everybody to leave. You know how they make their little statement and then they run everybody out? So I just want to, before we get to the actual press conference, I want to show you the part where they're done, because it's fairly hysterical. Listen to Trump's wranglers getting rid of everybody for him. It's glorious. This is the quality. Listen carefully, for the because he's supposed to he gets rid of everybody, and then he always they yell questions at him, and they're like, "Please get out of here."
Stronger alliance between
and he's still
Poland and the United States.
He can't do anything. I got an emote thanks for the emote. AB 087. I don't have to thank you for that. Thanks. That's all.
Very good to be here.
Very good.
It's good to be here.
Great to have you.
Cool.
Okay.
Nice to be okay. Bye.
Thank you very much.
I'm particularly orange today. If you haven't noticed, I threw on my good shade of orange for the Polish president.
Everybody. Thank you.
Listen.
Let's go! Press, let's go! Press! We're leaving! Press, let's go! Polish press, let's move!
Press, let's go! Polish press, let's move! Just in case the Polish press doesn't know that they're part of the press. Polish press, let's move! Roll out, Polish press. Thank you, Raphael, and thank you, Natalie. Hi, and thanks for the stickers, you guys.
Let's go! Press, let's go! Press! Press,
Yeah,
we're going!
he just keeps leaning over.
Press, let's go!
I love when they start dismantling the cameras. This is my favorite part of this. That's a nice man.
Why did you decide now is a good time to have the first foreign leader? Thank you.
Why did you want to have the first meeting with the Polish president? Why now? That's the basic question.
We have a tremendous relationship with, and I have a very good personal relationship with the president. So this is the first.
Because he's going to open a piece of property in Poland?
After COVID?
Yeah, because there's going to be, Warsaw, Trump Tower, Warsaw.
Part of the plague, as I call it.
It's got a lot of names. This is the least racist one I can say, although a lot of people think the Jews were responsible for the plague, and rats was just a nickname.
And it's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much, everybody. Okay. I'm very happy about General Flynn. He was treated horribly. He was treated very,
He pled guilty.
very horribly by a group of very bad people.
Well, that's no way to talk about the campaign.
And I think you'll see things are going to start to come out. But what
Yeah, he's coming out of jail temporarily.
happened to General Flynn should never happen again in our country.
I agree. He should never be a part of a transition. He should never become a national security advisor. He should never be in the White House again. He's completely untrustworthy. That I agree. That should never happen again.
Was persecuted, and
many
other people were persecuted. They spied on a campaign.
No, they were spying on other people, and the campaign got in contact with those people. See, if you call a drug dealer 100 times, eventually the DEA is going to go, "Who's this asshole?"
And they should never spy on a
Thank you, Kristen.
campaign, to put it mildly. It never happened before in the history of our country. The Obama administration spied on a campaign. This is just the first one, and he's been exonerated. And
yes, Obama's been
I want
exonerated.
to congratulate him. He's been through a lot. He's been through a lot.
Please bring him back into the White House during an election year, because right now you're losing to Biden by 14 points. This would add another 2.
Great courage, great fortitude, but they spied.
This is like a mobster talking about a dude who did his time. This is like Goodfellas. Kept his mouth shut. He didn't turn state's evidence, although he did. Other people went to jail because of what he said. But I'll pardon them later.
Anything like that happened. If that were the other way around.
Thanks so much, Osama number 5. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for showing up today. I felt like I jumped right in. I didn't even do a proper introduction. Hi, everybody. Hello. Can't Stop Lying. Hope all toes are good. Big hug. Where can you find the free Bolton book? It's just look up the Bolton book PDF and on Twitter anywhere, and it'll pop up. Believe me. Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Kristen. Thanks to all the super hearts. Thanks, Espresso, on and the sparkles and all the kind of cool stuff that they, that's all the folks that are on Periscope. Hi, Natalie. Hey, Caitlin. How are you, Smooth Criminal?
People would be in jail for 50 years already. Thank you very much.
50 years already? You've only been in the office for 3 years. You mean they'd be sentenced to 50 years? No. Nobody gets that kind of a... All right.
Thank you.
Okay, that was it. Just get out of here, Polish press. Beat it. Okay, so and this was the sit-down interview he did. If the I haven't watched either of these things. We do these raw. You know me. But let's... Yeah. Oh yes, my cup is spilled. Hold on. I'll empty the jar so you guys can fill it. I keep forgetting to do that. There you go. Now it's empty. Now you guys can fill it up again. There you go. Thank you. I need a bucket. They don't have a bucket icon. That would be fun. But yeah. So this is from the White House's own thing. So they cut off the part where they go, "Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States." And thank you again, Brian. I saw that before we came on the air. Here we go. Let's jump ahead. Joyce, thank you. Hi, everybody. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. Here they come. Oh, this is going to be good. So much for social distancing. We're just moving on, right? We're just pretending it's not important. Do a Davin mug.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. Please. Thank you. Beautiful day in the Rose Garden. And I want to thank everybody for being here with us.
Then go ahead.
You all know what a wonderful country and a great country Poland is.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And
lovely people, Poland. Solidarity, this is solidarity.
It's my honor to have a friend of mine here, President Duda of Poland, who has done an incredible job. And I do believe he has an election coming up, and I do believe he'll be very successful. So thank you very much, and all of your representatives, thank you very much for being here. This is the third time.
They bring everybody over. There weren't enough cases in Poland, so we thought we've got a lot of cases to spare, so we thought you'd come over. A lot of world leaders want to fly over just because our testing is so good.
We've hosted President Duda. The First Lady and I also cherish our remarkable visit to Poland 3 years ago. That was an amazing event.
Oh, yeah. I only wish we had been on the air to cover it then. We did little clips of it, I think, on the radio show. But that would have been a good live one. That was the one where basically you're trying to restart World War II.
We had an event because it was a speech and a lot
of when I give a speech, when the American president gives a speech, like people give a shit normally. I mean, they don't anymore.
People watch that speech, but
it was very popular.
It was a very historic moment.
Was it? Was it a historic moment? I think it was just a goofy ass speech. There was no point in it where we're like, whoa.
An important moment for our two countries. The American and Polish people enjoy one of the world's oldest, strongest, and most enduring friendships. Polish patriots battled by our side to secure American independence. American and Polish warriors fought and died together to defeat the Nazis. In World War II, the United States stood shoulder to shoulder with Poland in its courageous struggle against communist oppression.
Yeah, I love when he Wikipedia's a speech.
Our
all these things, nobody could get these done until I showed up. Thanks. Thank you, Josephine. A pixelated hippo chomps on a one-up. That's awesome.
Has been forged in battle, sealed in blood, and strengthened by
Jesus, dude.
Shared cultural values. The United States and Poland are united by our firm conviction that Western
Thank you for posting that, Joe.
civilization is advanced, really, and very much advanced. I think I have to add the cause of human progress beyond measure, and that it must be strongly defended and will at all times be strongly defended, and we will.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Cultural values. The United States and Poland are united by our firm conviction that Western civilization is advanced.
Okay, gotcha.
Really, and very much advanced. I think I
You think, what are you talking about, rocket ships now?
have to add the cause of human progress beyond measure, and that it must be strongly defended and will at all times be strongly defended, and we will defend it together.
That's right. That's why I'm announcing today I'm disbanding the FBI, and I support Vladimir Putin in extending his term limits worldwide. Also, a lot of my good friends are dictators, and I think it's great that they could serve the rest of it. So I will continue to make jokes about serving beyond, even when I lose. I'll continue to run for president. And
Meeting today, President Duda and I reaffirmed the vital alliance between our nations. Last year, we signed 2 joint declarations to increase our security collaboration.
And leave them pantsed in front of Russia if they ever decided to take the territory.
We look forward to signing a defense cooperation agreement. Poland recently purchased 32 brand new state-of-the-art F-35 fighter jets, the best.
Oh, so this is a sales meeting. This is the dealer calling the guy and asking him how's the bucket seats.
The world, and Poland is one of only 8 NATO members. The others, some of them haven't done so well in terms of what they're supposed to be paying to NATO. I tell them all the time, and we've gotten them up a lot, but not enough.
What's Poland's price tag? Are they up to snuff?
But Poland is one of only 8 that is current with the money that they are supposed to be paying. That's the 2%. 2% is a very low number, but we have a large.
Because 2% of Poland's economy compared to Germany's economy is minuscule.
Number of countries that haven't paid. They're delinquent, let's put it that way. They're delinquent with respect to their dues, the money they're supposed to be paying for defense. So the United States is defending a lot of countries that are delinquent on what they're supposed to be paying, and I never feel too good about that, but I will.
Apparently.
I spoke with the Secretary General, and he said,
"Oh, please riff on this. Please riff on, like, you know who isn't delinquent on their military investments? Russia.
Done a great job, but I said we haven't done good enough. We haven't done a good enough job. We have secured, though, over $400 billion
Why are we moving in on
pledged defense spending from NATO members, which is something that no other administration has come even close to. I would say they're off by many, many hundreds of billions of dollars, something the newspaper doesn't like writing about, that the media doesn't like talking about. But we will be only satisfied when all members are paying their fair share. Again, only 8 members plus the United States is paying what is considered a fair share. I also applaud Poland and the Polish people for its devotion to safeguarding their country's borders, very strong borders. And I just left our border, by the way. The wall is moving along rapidly.
What does Poland's border have to do? You don't want MS-13 sneaking into Poland.
And our border,
God forbid gangsters start running around Eastern Europe.
It's about as strong as it's ever been, our southern border. Last year, we were able to add Poland to the visa waiver program, and they wanted that very badly, and we gave it to them because they really deserve it. It's a testament to Poland's vigilant efforts to uphold the rule of law.
Did you gut the H-1B? I mean, who's coming over here then? You just eliminated almost all immigration anyways. So what, is Poland getting a pass? Is that special news? Or is it just amongst the crowd of other countries that we're no longer honoring visas from?
The United States and Poland have recently signed several long-term contracts for U.S. liquefied natural gas. They're a big purchaser of our energy. to enhance Poland's energy
So again, it's a sales meeting. Thanks, Philly Dana.
security. And we're working to conclude an agreement that would facilitate Poland's development of nuclear energy plants throughout the purchase. They're going to be purchasing with one of our very big, very good companies, technology to do civilian nuclear energy. I want
Which company would that be? Would it be a multinational nuclear conglomerate that makes nuclear power plants all over the world? What company are you talking about? Thanks so much, Jill Carter.
Congratulate Poland for its leadership in the 3 Cs initiative, a crucial energy partnership that will provide a reliable source of energy for Eastern Europe, and it will be free from the threat of foreign extortion. Poland understands foreign extortion very well. The 3 Cs initiative.
What are you talking about? You mean Russia? Because that's Ukraine's problem. That's most of Europe's problem, actually.
Relies on fairness.
France has like 80% renewable energy, and it's largely because of the amount of nuclear that they have.
Transparency and mutual benefit. Our nations have also collaborated on protecting our critical infrastructure and technology. That's why we've signed a 5G joint declaration, and Poland is leading the way in Europe by using trusted providers and provider equipment.
Oh, so this is the muscling out of China that's going to start.
And supply chains for its 5G network, and we're working along with them, and they're using our companies.
Yeah, which ones?
United States and
Or
Poland
they're using trusted partners. That doesn't necessarily mean American companies.
cooperate across the truly wide range of fronts that we're both very much involved in. Here today is the head of a Polish medical team, very advanced team, very brilliant team, fighting the coronavirus alongside of American doctors, Captain Shevera. Captain, thank you very much for being here, Captain. And we're making great progress. I hear we're making great progress, and we're working together, but we are making great progress on therapeutics and vaccines. Thank you
And cures and therapeutics are the same thing. And please tell me what that guy's real
very
name
much.
is.
Appreciate you being here. The American
Captain Shevera. Sheverash.
and Polish people have been true friends and trusted partners for almost 250 years. We're forever
Where were they before that, though? And what have they done for us
united
lately?
by our shared belief in family, faith, law, liberty, democracy, and justice. As the old Polish motto goes, we will stand together in the name of God for our freedom and for yours. President Duda, let me express once again our gratitude for your
For me not giving a shit while I read with my finger. I'm incapable of saying anything spontaneous, especially things where I'm supposed to appreciate someone else. Shit, who wrote this on the paper? I was saying that out loud. You weren't supposed to put it in the speech that let me know that I can't.
visit and friendship. We have had a very, very special relationship. Our alliance is powerful.
Yes, they're buying nuclear energy, natural gas, and weapons. That's the extent of your special relationship.
And a very
It's Duda, yeah.
powerful testament to what free people can achieve together. And I believe that the greatness of our relationship lies ahead. Thank you very much, President. Please. Thank you.
I think we're going to make our relationship with Poland great again.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Szanowni Państwo.
Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I would like to thank very warmly to President Donald Trump, to the
He's an interesting voice, this guy.
President of the United States of America. Thank you very much for inviting me here to Washington, to the White House, to take part in this very important meeting to us. This meeting is important for many reasons. To me, as President of the Republic of Poland, this meeting is important because Poland is the first country after the coronavirus pandemic which has been invited to the meeting in the White House to discuss the most important matters concerning the future, concerning how the relations will look between the United States and Poland in terms of economy, what those relations will be like in the military sphere, and what those relations will be like in the sphere of health protection, all those elements which are of
Trump's just like, is that his voice that I'm hearing? What is that? Where's she? Can I get a good look at her? I mean, is she as hot as that chick from the weird rally thing I did at the church?
Importance today. A very big part of our discussions today with Mr. President and our collaborators were dedicated to the coronavirus, to what the situation looks like
All right, I'll just jump ahead to the question and answer period because this will get
now. The companies are making right now, contributing so much to
Russia, so that doesn't what they're supposed to be.
Hold on.
Past, and we will be going together towards the development of our countries, towards the development of our societies, towards the building of a better, more prosperous future, both for the United States, for Poland, and for Europe. Thank you so much.
We'll ask one to me,
Oi.
one to the president, and that would be great. Steve Holland, go ahead.
Quality audio there, folks. Yeah, don't set your earpiece down on the. All right.
Poland, would you send them from Germany, and what sort of signal would that send to Russia? And for President Duda, how do you feel about this, taking some troops out of Germany to go to Poland, and what signal does that send to Russia? Thank you.
Well, just to start, as you know, Poland is, as I've said many times, Poland is one of the few countries that are fulfilling their obligations under NATO.
Which is really, if you think about it, is really just a security racket. You know, it's basically like we're just mercenaries. We don't really care whether Europe gets overrun. We just know that it's a good source of income selling them weapons. So,
in particular, their monetary obligations, and they asked us if we would send some additional troops. They're going to pay for that. They'll be paying for the sending of additional troops, and we'll probably be moving them from Germany to Poland. We're going to be reducing Germany very substantially down to about 25,000 troops. We actually had 52,000, but we'll be moving it down to about 25,000. Germany's paying a very small fraction of what they're supposed to be paying. They should be.
So, are they supposed to pay their soldiers' rent there? What are we going to do? Move them to Poland and France and stuff? Is this a game of Risk? Are we moving like groups of 5,000 closer to the Russian border? Is he being pushed by the hawks in the deep state, in the folks in his administration to actually squeeze Russia and those territories? Does he even know?
2%, and they're paying a little bit more than 1%, depending on how you calculate. You could also calculate that they're paying less than 1%, but
yeah, if you just what number are we talking about? If you really are talking about numbers, there's so many ways.
When you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what?
Right. So what?
If you assume they're paying 1%, that's a tremendous delinquency.
It's a tremendous delinquency. We're going to move them out of Germany.
You'll have nobody guarding your potatoes. That word, delinquency.
I like that word, delinquency. I was a juvenile delinquent, but I was rich, so nobody cared.
So we're going to be reducing our forces in Germany. Some will be coming home, and some will be going to other places, but Poland would be one of those other.
Where? Saudi Arabia to guard more oil processing plants?
Places, other places in Europe.
Send to Russia by doing this?
I think it sends a very strong signal to Russia, but I think a stronger signal sent to Russia is the fact that Germany is paying Russia billions of dollars to purchase energy from Russia and through the pipeline. And I'm saying, what's that all about? You're spending billions of dollars to Russia, then we're supposed to defend you from Russia.
Yeah, it's not a war. They're buying energy from Russia. NATO is there in case Russia decides to invade places. Now, there is an area where they could get oil and gas that has a brand new functioning pipeline that Russia has been trying to scuttle forever. And ever since Hunter Biden's company moved in and helped Burisma, they've had great success with that pipeline. And Germany will eventually be able to get the oil and gas that they need from the north, anyways, from Ukraine, thanks to the company that Hunter Biden worked with. That's weird. That would strategically work very well for the American people and for NATO and for our allies if they weren't relying on Russia and they could get their stuff from Ukraine. That's interesting, man.
I think it's a very bad. I think the people of Germany are very.
Thank you, Beth.
Unhappy about it. I have many friends from Germany.
Do you?
And the people in Germany are very unhappy about it. They don't like it, but that's what they chose to do. So they're spending billions of dollars to buy Russian energy, and then we're supposed to defend them from Russia. So that doesn't work too well. But Poland has been very, very terrific. In fact,
very, very terrific. Well said. That should be easy to translate.
I don't believe Poland is actually accepting any of the energy from the pipeline from Russia. So
yeah, they are. Look at his face.
Sends a signal right there. With all of that being said, we expect to get along with Russia. We expect to get along with everybody. But Germany...
Everybody.
...has...
regardless of what they do on the world stage.
...really owe a lot of money in NATO, and this has been going on for many years. When you add it all up, you're probably getting close to $1 trillion. And that's not treating NATO fairly, but it really isn't treating the United States fairly. You know, the United States is the major participant in NATO. We pay more than anybody else by far, have for many, many years. So we defend Europe, but Europe also takes tremendous advantage of the United States on trade. Advantage like you...
Not related. Security and trade, not related.
...wouldn't believe.
And if you want to make it related, then it gives Russia wiggle room and room to attack.
So we're trying to work that out. And I would imagine they'd like to wait till after the election so that maybe they could deal with somebody other than President Trump.
Oh, my God. We're talking about the Biden thing. If Biden comes in, you're going to have, I don't know, trade policy like we had during the Obama years and during Clinton. Oh, my God. What if we return to the Clinton economy? What a horror.
But after the election, they'll just have to pay more. But that's the way it is. Okay? Thank you very much, please.
So we actually do get oils from Russia.
Sir, first of all, I do respect very much both Mr. President Donald Trump and the United States of America. A wonderful, great state, which today is the largest military and economic superpower in the world. And I wouldn't...
And without them, we would be a part of Germany right now. Speaking of Trump's German roots.
Say to the President of the United States of America where he should send his soldiers, because this is the decision which is always taken by the United States. This is a very responsible decision. However, I do not deny that I requested, Mr. President, that he would not withdraw U.S. forces from Europe, because the security of Europe is very important to me. From Europe as such, I'm talking about the United Europe, for which the American presidents say...
Look at, he's like, dude, you're not supposed to give a shit. What does this have to do with Germany? Is Germany in Europe? Is Poland part of Europe? I thought it was like a Russian colony. Did you hear his accent?
The end of the Second World War is a huge...
look at his face. Look at Trump. Is it really, though?
Security guarantee. However, if I'm asked by anybody if I am ready that Poland receives more U.S. troops in our country, of course I am ready. In 2014...
It's like, don't pull any out of Germany, but if you're going to pull them out, put them in Poland.
Attacked Ukraine. It annexed Crimea. It occupies Lugansk and Donetsk. Before that, it had attacked Georgia. 2014 was a year of huge fears. Huge fears in the Baltic states.
Thanks, Cat Cookie.
Very big ones, very considerable ones among the Polish society. Today, the presence of NATO troops and first and foremost of U.S. troops in Poland demonstrates that Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty is treated seriously.
Oh, look, Trump's not enjoying that one. Well, always that's aggravating.
And it shows that if anyone wanted to attack Poland, it won't be a soft landing for that entity. That won't pay off for such an aggressor, because the strongest army of the world is present, and they would help Polish soldiers to defend our borders if such a case arises. 100 years ago, we repelled Russian...
So basically, he's just there to kiss Trump's ass so he doesn't remove all the troops from Europe and allow Russia, which is a very serious threat, to actually push into Poland.
from Warsaw. In a great battle in 1920, we defeated the
Trump's like, wait, 1920, I wasn't president then. Nothing good could have happened.
army Bolsheviks, and we drew them back to the east. That was a great victory, but we managed to stop them only very near to Warsaw, at the outskirts of our capital city. We would never want to see the situation repeated again. That is why the Allied presence is crucially important to us today, and it is a very important security guarantee to us. So I'm very pleased that both within NATO as well as in the United States, and today the President of the United States understands the history of Europe, and he understands the
By the way, you're not having a stroke. The sun just went behind a cloud.
realities in Europe, and that he also understands
Either that or a UFO is passing over Washington, D.C. right now.
the situation as it is developing in Europe. So today, this generates peace to my country. It brings security, and thanks to that, Russian, unfortunately very strong imperial ambitions, which have been revived over the last tens of years, I can say, because Georgia was attacked in 2008. Thanks to this, those ambitions have been stopped for the time.
Oh, yeah. So we need the German troops. We need the Allied troops around there. We need troops in Poland. We need a very strong Article 5. We need NATO to be strong. We need to push back against, because Russia has imperialist goals, and since 2008, they've been on the march. And Poland's a little nervous about that.
Being, at least in this part of the world. And I have no doubt
Look at Trump's, he's doing that, oh, I don't know, duck face that he does. Maybe if I try to look like Churchill right now, people will buy it.
However, that this is also a huge merit of the policy of the United States. I'm grateful for that, just like all my compatriots are.
I want to add 2014, which the president was talking of. That was a year where Russia had a good time with the United States.
Had a good time with the United States.
To the best of my knowledge, President Obama and Sleepy Joe Biden, they were in power. They were the ones that were doing it. This was before us. Hasn't happened with us, and it won't happen with us either. Please, go ahead.
Pan redaktor Marcin Wrona, bardzo.
Marcin Wrona.
President, you had to cancel your last trip, your last visit to Poland because of the hurricane. Are you planning a new visit to Poland in the near future? And
yeah, no, it wasn't because of the hurricane. He sent Pence instead.
The second question is on COVID. Is there a chance for Poland to participate in the development and early access, both to the vaccine and to the therapeutics? Panie prezydencie, czy jest szansa na to, że podczas tej współpracy
Mr. President, is there a chance that during this cooperation of the United States we'll get fast access both to the vaccine as
They just asked it in English and Polish.
well as to concrete drugs against coronavirus?
And we'd like to do it again as soon as we can. We have an election happening in this country, as you probably have heard.
If you know, I don't know if you noticed, but we have a little thing called an election coming up, and Sleepy Joe and I will be. I'm worried about mail-in ballots. Do you do mail-in ballots in Poland? Is the mail illegal in Poland yet?
So I probably won't be able to do it until after the election, but assuming things go well, the answer is a very definite yes, actually. As far as the joining with us on the vaccines and therapeutics, by the way, because the therapeutics to me, if you gave me a choice right now, probably therapeutically, maybe I'd like that even better, but we're working very well on both.
What, do you have to flip a coin? Is it a funding thing? Are you worried about it? It's a global pandemic.
We're coming up with some great answers. I think you're going to have a big surprise, a beautiful surprise, sooner than anybody would think. But the answer is yes, we would.
But enough about Oxford.
Be getting Poland involved, both in terms of helping, but also in terms of taking care of the Polish people once we have the vaccine. But I think we're going to have it very soon. Okay? Thank you.
Panie redaktorze,
Sir, we got involved as a state in the cooperation and also in supporting allies, be it in a symbolic dimension of the United States in the fight against coronavirus. That is why we have here with us today a captain medical doctor from Poland. I want to say, yes, of course, I'm working on this obvious assumption that by...
Is that their name, Captain Medical Doctor?
taking part in the research, and also by being, in a certain sense, co-creators of the vaccines and therapeutics, Poles will be able to count on these vaccines and therapeutics to be.
I don't believe Poles. I think the Poles are wrong. No, the Polish people. Oh, okay. I heard that the Poles are saying that 14% of people prefer Biden. I think the Polish people are wrong. That's why I invited you here, because I think the Poles are wrong.
Available for the polls as soon as possible. So, speaking openly, this is also the intention I have in my cooperation with the United States of America to make sure that these vaccines are available to Poles and to other nations wherever they will be applied as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you very much. John, please.
Dude, can you not set your earpiece close to the mic that's on your desk?
This afternoon, the bill on reform in the Senate failed to move forward. It may still see the light of day at some point, but at the moment it's stalled in the Senate. As well, you have an executive order that is coming out later on this week regarding monuments, what to do about people who deface or damage these monuments. Could you tell us what you're planning to do in the executive order and your reaction to what happened in the Senate?
Well, I think that the Democrats don't like the fact that our black senator, Rick Scott, had a thing, and we took all of the teeth out of it. And it's very bad what people are doing, and they're hoodlums.
The Senate Republicans.
Please say ruffians and scourge.
Want very much to pass a bill on police reform. We have total cooperation with many different communities, including the police community. They want it very much to happen themselves because there are things that they agree to that they would like to agree to, and they would love to have it agreed to formally. The Democrats don't want to do it because they want to weaken our police. They want to take away immunity. They want to do other things that you know about as well as anybody in this beautiful
The beautiful rose garden. Nobody knows as much about police brutality as you, John, from Fox.
Field that we sit.
This field? It's a field now? Wait, where does he think he is? Holy smokes. Wait, back up.
They want it very much to happen themselves because there are things that they agree to that they would like to agree to, and they would love to.
Why don't they just do it themselves?
Have it agreed to.
Well, I mean, there's nothing stopping the police unions from making it illegal for members, for example, to use chokeholds, except in situations where they're alone and it's the only thing that matters between life and death.
Normally, the Democrats don't want to do it because they want to weaken our police. They want to take.
Do they really want to weaken our police, or do they want to demilitarize our police?
Away.
But I mean, if you want the National Guard, the way he views policing, which is just basically like lines of shields walking down the street, like brooming everybody like a permanent national curfew. Law and order, we must have law and order. And by law and order, I mean soldiers on the streets. Think like an Israeli airport, but all the time, and schools, and that everybody else can be armed. And your Second Amendment, you can have as many clips as you want because rednecks never open fire on the police. Ruby Ridge. Anyways, so
immunity. They want to do other things that you know about as well as anybody in this beautiful field that we sit. They want to take away.
What do they normally grow corn there? What did they get?
This beautiful field. Sitting here on the 45th yard line, we're really hoping for a touchdown. On this field is. We built it, and I came.
A lot of the strength from our police and from law enforcement generally, and we can't live with that.
In the fields?
Can't live with that. This is a great bill, strongly endorsed by, as you know, Tim Scott, who's...
Yes, I must bring up one black senator.
Terrific.
He's terrific, who did that, and he's now going to... we just basically throw him in. They throw some people under the bus. We've decided to strap him to the front of it. And of course, the bus is full of, segregationists and people who want Confederate statues, basically in New York City.
Terrific man, great senator, South Carolina. And Mitch wants it to happen. I would like to see it happen. But we won't sacrifice. We won't do that. We won't do anything that's going to hurt our police. The police, we have a record this year on crime, a record positive rating on crime this year.
A record positive rating on crime. You mean crime rate's gone down?
The best. And you hear about...
No, it's not the best. And why did it get louder all of a sudden? Jesus. Is that just me? Christ.
In places like Chicago, and you hear about what's going on in Detroit and other cities, all Democrat run. Every one of them's Democrat run.
Yeah, they also have the largest economies in the entire country as well. You giving them credit for that? Like, Chicago's Democrat run. I mean, and it's the fallback for the Dow. New York's Democrat run, the state's Democrat run, Seattle, Los Angeles, San Francisco, all of them Democrats, except for maybe, I guess now Dallas, the police force there is almost entirely African-American leadership and the like. So how come you're always like, the Democrats run all these horrible cities where all this stuff is happening? It's also where all the money in the country is made and where everybody lives because the opportunities grow, and it's hard to even get, you can't even find, rent is almost impossible in these places because it's so expensive to live there because they're the most sought after real estate in the entire country. All Democrat run.
20 out of 20. 20 worst, the 20 most dangerous are Democrat run.
20 richest, 35 richest, I think.
We have one city or two cities in particular, worse than Honduras, worse than Afghanistan.
You mean the places where they don't keep track of the murder rates at all?
Worse than Afghanistan.
Like D.C.? I mean, you're kind of in charge of D.C. overall. I mean, you've got almost complete control. They don't have statehood. They don't have anything. The federal government has complete control of it. And so it's kind of on you.
And these are cities within the United States, Democrat run, radical left run. You see what's going on in Seattle. You see what's
Chicago's got radical lefties running everything.
Going on in other places. Seattle, of all places, who would even think that's possible? 20 out of 20.
It's a 6-block Occupy style thing. It's not that surprising considering what happened.
The Democrats,
it'll live and die the same way.
That's want to weaken very substantially our law enforcement and our police. And frankly, they want to defund largely, at least largely. There are some that want to defund and abolish our police, if you can believe that.
No one in charge.
And we're not letting that happen. So if nothing happens with...
You can't do anything about the Minneapolis city council defunding their own police force and moving to a county-based system. They're not getting rid of their police anytime soon. It's not going to happen. It will not. And Camden, New Jersey doubled the number of police they had by moving to a county-based system. They had 220 cops working in the city. They moved to when they moved to the county-based system, there were now 440 some odd cops patrolling the area.
Those things, we have different philosophies. They want open borders. They want sanctuary cities. We don't.
You're the one who was just arguing that they needed migrant workers to pick strawberries and work on farms in all these states, and we have to make that available. And you were just arguing for that, which is exactly what everyone's talking about, either with E-Verify or card check or migrant visas and the process on that being streamlined. That's part of comprehensive immigration reform, which would pass in a heartbeat if Mitch McConnell put it up.
As far as your second question, I think
you almost said his number 2 question.
That we're going to have a very strong executive order, but we already have very strong. We have the Monuments Act already, which means 10 years in jail. But
literally, he's like, I'm going to sign an executive order to make it illegal to do this, and then people went, "It's already a law against that. You just have to. They just get arrested." It's already it's vandalism. I mean, people go to jail for vandalism. No, Robert, you messed a little bit of him bringing up his German roots in front of the Polish president. Always a little awkward.
We're going to consolidate.
Traditionally, a lot of people think that my family owns most of Poland.
Various things. We're going to come out with a very strong executive order, and I should have that by the end of the week, which is fast approaching.
Now, time moves at the same rate, and it seems like there's a quickening going on, but it's not. And secondly, he literally just said, I'm going to sign an executive order with something in there. And I mean, there's already a law against it, but I'm going to sign something that makes it very clear that that law is a law.
We're going to have it a very powerful statement.
Oh, good. That's important. Powerful statements as opposed to.
We've arrested numerous people, as you know, for what took place outside.
Have you? Were you busting them? Did you go out on the street? Do you have a badge? Is Trump going out in patrols now?
Washington, in addition,
who's we?
And the FBI is investigating hundreds of people throughout the country for what they've done to monuments, statues.
Well, I thought the FBI was full of scumbags and people who don't care about the rule of law.
And even buildings.
Now FBI good?
So we have very strong laws already on the books. I mean, we have a law that's 10 years. It's 10 years. That's a long time to have fun one night. I think many of the...
But enough about if I was ever caught for the stuff I did with Jeffrey Epstein.
People that are knocking down these statues don't even have any idea what the statue is, what it means, who it is. When they knock down Grant, when they want to knock down Grant. But when they look at certain... Now they're looking at Jesus Christ. They're looking...
He heard this yesterday at this thing, like, what are...
At George Washington. They're looking at Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Not as long as I'm here.
No, people are talking about Confederate statues. Don't hide your Confederate statues behind Jefferson and Jesus and Washington.
As far as Democrats are concerned, I think they could care less whether or not it happens. And
no, we specifically give a shit about the Confederate statues.
I think the American people get it. So we're going to have a...
Yeah, they get it. The vast majority of them want the Confederate statues to come down because they're enemy traitor statues. I mean, they're like chess pieces after they already lost the game.
Very strong executive order, and it'll happen very quickly before the end of the week.
Well, then write it up. And what's it going to say? The exact same law that's already on the books? Jesus.
We have an election coming up in November. You have an election coming up on...
You probably heard about it. Probably heard there's an election
Sunday.
coming up.
Some of your critics who are politicians here in the United States have criticized this visit to the White House, saying it is tantamount to election interference because it shows a very close relationship between the United States and Poland.
No, it doesn't.
At a time when you...
No, there's nothing wrong with overt support from a foreign leader saying that they do.
Really need it.
Only Fox thinks those kind of stupid thoughts.
What do you say to those critics? And Mr. President, feel free to weigh in if you want to.
Oh my God.
Szanowny panie, przede wszystkim...
Sir, first of all, let me also follow up on the question that you asked to President Donald Trump. I would like to thank you, Mr. President, because, among others, not a long time ago, the monument to General Tadeusz Kościuszko was devastated. That was the national hero of Poland, but also the national hero of the United States, who was fighting for the independence of the United States. He had great merits. He was also the commander of a Polish uprising where he was fighting for the independence of Poland. He suffered heavy wounds in Poland fighting for the independence of our country, and for completely incomprehensible reasons to us, that monument was devastated recently, and thank you so much that it has been renewed so fast, and that made it possible for me to lay flowers at that monument and pay tribute to that great soldier and a great commander. Thank you for that. That was outrageous for a big number of Polish people back in Poland, all of them probably, and for many Polish people living here also in the United States. Polish organizations here in the United States asked me and told me that they would renew that monument. I know that it has already been renewed by the United States. No assistance.
It wasn't pulled down. Did somebody spray something on it? Did you clean it up?
Was needed, so I'm very grateful for that. That here, the monument to Tadeusz Kościuszko stands near the White House, and he looks as he should look, which he has deserved for the merits he laid for the United States and for Poland. So thank you very much for that, Mr. President. And answering to your question, 2 months ago,
I think D.C. is responsible for that with their budget.
At the very beginning of the pandemic of coronavirus, we had a lengthy conversation with President Donald Trump. The pandemic disrupted the plans of our cooperation, which we had, and back then we made an arrangement with Mr. President that we would meet as soon as it would be possible, and this has been implemented. And the fact that
Nope, I didn't recognize there's a glass of water laying there or whatever. You think Trump's going to show off?
Look, watch, I'm going to walk 4 steps and drink a glass of water.
this
before we
arrangement
leave.
has been put
Oh, the Kosciuszko statue was spray painted? Okay, gotcha. It
Into-
wasn't torn down. I don't think anybody was asking that it be removed.
force is demonstrated by the visit today. I'm very grateful to Mr. President for inviting me here today. And together with Mr. President, we are implementing our presidential duties. The President is always in charge of his national interests. And this is the task of the President. When the President is acting in the international sphere, this is my sense, but I also know that also it is a
What?
very strong belief of President Donald Trump. The president is supposed to realize the interest of their country. So Mr. President Trump is realizing the interest of his own country, and I'm realizing the interest of Poland. So we are looking for a win-win situation where both parties are the winners, where both parties are able to implement their interests as part
She's got this nailed. I'm beginning to think she's fluent in Polish.
of the cooperation which we're implementing. This is the way we act. And in this very moment, we're acting on a national level, on the state level. We are just fulfilling our obligations and duties.
He's got an election coming up. It's less like
The first
who cares? He's obviously coming over here. They strategized it. He's trying to win. Maybe that's part of it, but it's not. It's overt. It's not covert. Nobody has a problem with that.
national guest in the White House since the lockdown. And today there was a big military parade in Moscow. Can we combine those two facts? Is it kind of proof that that Poland is an important partner for America? Can we treat it that we can rely on America in Poland? Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for subscribing.
I think you can, and we also are working with Russia right now on an arms treaty, which is a very big
You mean the
thing.
one you scuttled?
Nuclear arms specifically, but
Yeah, we let that one expire, and it's freaking Poland out, and I don't know why we got rid of it. Probably because somebody else negotiated it, and I was like, I don't know.
working very much, and I think I can say, Mike, we're doing very well on that. We're two countries that want to see it happen, and we're working on other
One maybe less than the other.
things with Russia. We have a very good relationship. We have our ambassador over there right now who'll be attending certain festivities.
Oh, festivities, really? Is he there for Festivus? It's a little late.
And that's a good thing, and I think that's frankly a good thing for Poland also.
It's a great thing if we could team up. If America and Russia decide that we would like to split Europe between us, I totally think that would work out. If I can just get a Trump Tower anywhere.
Likewise, we're going to be having very important dignitaries at your parade. You're going to be having a very big event soon, and we're going to be, I guess, in August, and we're going to have people representing the United States at a very high level, and that's very important to us also.
I'm not going because I've got another rally in Tulsa. We're going to give it a do-over.
Okay.
Okay, whatever.
Panie redaktor.
Sir, I have this feeling and sense that I'm conducting negotiations in Polish matters here in a very experienced and very tough politician, tough player, I can say, that is President Donald Trump, who is standing strongly and looking to the interest of his country and his citizens. What I'm doing here is I'm representing Polish interests here, and I'm not parading in Moscow. That is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. We will see you soon. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Right, we're just leaving. Cool, let's get out of here. Still gonna buy those airplanes, right?
What's the weird little tap on his leg that he's doing when he's walking? It's like he's calling a dog that never comes.
You know, it's funny, but Melania doesn't hold my hand either. I heard you're 6'3". Is that true? Because I'm taller than you, so.
Thanks so much, AB0807. That's lovely. Thanks for the cheers. Yeah, that was just glorious. This is the interview with the CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network, the Christ Broadcasting Network, like Christ Broadcasting Network. Pat Robertson's network. Good times. Yes, there's toilet paper on his heel. Let's shall we dive into this one, and that'll be our thing for this Wednesday. I appreciate you guys being here, by the way. Welcome. Thanks for liking and subscribing to the show. Give us a thumbs up. I'm here every day. We go through all of what they do live as best I can. You know, sometimes it's, you know, it's a feast because there's so much stuff, but some days it's a little dry. Today, not so much a problem. There's lots of these stuff. So thanks. Thank you. My hair is very fluffy today. I appreciate that, Melissa. It's a very fluffy day. Yeah, it might be a dementia thing. It might also be that he has a, you know, he's had a little too much crushed Sudafed. Let the Polish extortion begin. That's exactly what it is, Bean Toes. He's basically just going to go, you know, we're going to pull these out of things. And if you don't want Russia to own your country, you need to allow me to build a building 2 years afterwards. Because understand, there have never been as many Trump towers as there will be built right after he leaves office. So count on it. They're making the deals right now.
Where do I even begin?
Under the table. And by the way, this guy's just a joy. Christian Broadcasting Network, white all the time.
President Trump, great to see you again, sir.
Thank you very much, David.
So good to be here, David. Thank you so much. This is almost like a church, meaning that I hardly ever come out here.
Where do I even begin? Let's start with Joe Biden.
Why would you start there? I mean, Sleepy Joe, he's ahead of me. Are you going to bring up the polls? Because I'm meeting with the president of the polls, and I'm going to tell him to fix those things.
If Joe Biden gets elected president of the United
Thank you, Joyce.
States, what does that mean for America exactly?
Well, I can tell you what it means for your religion. It means choice. It means...
Oh, no. Not choice. Not freedom of choice. In religion? When are we becoming a secular society? What the... Oh, my God.
That you're going to put a radical lefty on the court, and that's going to...
A radical lefty on the court.
The end of...
You know, people like... Unlike our conservative judges who always side with us.
Pro-life, it won't even have a chance. So
pro-life won't have a chance. You'll have to make an argument to people and help create adoption services and give people reasons why if they become pregnant, they should give birth to the child instead of it being a broodmare for the state, which is what women should be. Of course, we know that. And then, of course, if the woman dies having the child, I mean, if Moses' mom had lived, where would we be?
That's what it means. Nobody's been more pro, as you know, you've heard it many times. I think you might have said it yourself.
I've said it, we make it up. It doesn't have to be true, we can just say it.
But nobody has been more pro-life as president than I have.
That's why I want us to stop using rubber bullets in the streets and get tough with people. I think we should just roll in with tanks and shoot people. I think you got to be very law and order means death. And nobody's been as pro-life as me. I mean, just look at the number of COVID people.
I even went to the recent, they had a fantastic thing 3 blocks away in the park. And
a fantastic thing 3 blocks away in the park. Was there an Eyes Wide Shut party I wasn't invited to? What the heck?
Went to it, and I'm the first president that ever went to it. A celebration of the victories that
the
we've
March
all
for
had.
Life, yeah.
Between
yeah. Thanks for naming it for him.
Mexico City, you know what Mexico City is very well, but...
yeah, it's the city in Mexico.
A lot of your viewers might not, but nobody since Ronald...
Thanks, Scooter.
Reagan, and even he was light. His was Mexico City light. Mine is Mexico City strong. You know,
it's very important to... What?
If Biden gets in, he's going to put... He's not going to do, because Joe is shot. Somebody, whoever's going to be running the party, is going to put radical left judges...
What, you know what he means?
Obama. Joe's not going to be president. Obama's going to be telling him what to do. And you know what happens if Obama's president again? He'll be at the White House Correspondents' Dinner making fun of me again. And I can't take it. I can't take it anymore.
The Supreme Court and all over the court system. And everything we do. I think I'll have close to 300 judges.
By the way, we have 190 people in the chat room right now just on YouTube. Hi, everybody. Give a thumbs up and a like. I appreciate that. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate that as well. Because we actually have added some, we've added some followers, and you can subscribe on Twitch as well if you're on YouTube. It does it, you know, if you have an Amazon Prime account. You'll figure it out.
Finish my first term. Hopefully a lot more than that, but it's a record number. And we have pro-life, these are pro-life judges. So
we're litmus testing everyone, and they're pro-life, except when it comes to capital punishment, because you have to be able to kill people later.
you look at the Supreme Court, they're pro-life. So we'll see what happens. We will, I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win maybe big.
No, you lost the popular vote last time. You're going to lose the popular vote and the Electoral College this time.
Because we've done a job like nobody else. You know, we were sailing, and then
yeah, at a certain point, you're going to fill all those federal judgeships. Then they're just going to hang around. They don't need you anymore. Those folks they think the people that he's put on the bench will run interference against the Democrats if they get in control of anything. So at some point, they don't need you anymore, and they can start building whoever the next person is going to be, the post-Trump era.
Got hit with the Chinese virus, but we were sailing. We were so far up, and we were doing very well. And then
yeah, when it comes to the debt and the deficit, doubled the deficit under Obama, and still cutting the ACA. It's weird, you know. Eliminate pieces of the ACA and the debt goes up. That's odd.
All of a sudden, it was an artificial situation that.
No, it was actually completely organic. It's not artificial at all. It's a disease. It happened. It's actually, your economy is not what happens when everything is going swimmingly. Your economy is what's going on during life as well. You don't get to blame stuff that wasn't supposed to happen because everything else was going great. You don't get to be a hedge fund manager bitching about Medicare for all.
Happened to it.
You're the president of the United States. You own all of it.
So we had to turn it off. We had
yeah.
Turn off the economy. We did the right thing. We saved millions of lives, and now we're turning it back on, and we're doing record business. We're doing record jobs. As you know, were announced last week. We have record retail sales was announced last week.
Yeah, percentage up from 0. Again, this whole nonsense about like being in here and going, all right, hold on, broom. This whole nonsense about,
you know, if you lay down on the ground and you sit up, you've actually grown 3 feet. If you think about it, you're now 9 feet tall.
And I think it's going to be a V shape. A lot of people disagreed with me. Now they're all agreeing with me.
No, they're not.
But we're doing well. But in terms of religion,
maybe you mean deaths.
In terms of evangelical, in terms of Christians with or without evangelical, in terms of Jewish, in terms of anything, you're going to have radical left judges appointed. And if you're in favor of pro-life, you can forget it.
What do you think of what happened with Neil Gorsuch in the 6-3 decision with the LGBT civil rights?
Yeah, gee, the guy you put in there. Now, you've made promises about judges, and here's one.
So that was a shock to a lot of folks.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
I was surprised. Some people felt that it was a decision that they weren't as surprised as I was. Yeah, I was surprised.
What does that mean?
Some people weren't as surprised as I was surprised. I was a lot more surprised. Isn't that a surprise?
And John Roberts, what do you make? I mean, is he the new Anthony Kennedy or potentially?
Is he the new Anthony Kennedy? Yeah.
Well, so far we're not doing too well. It says, look, we've had a lot of losses with a court that was supposed to be in our favor. This is just to show what it means. We need, you know, you'll probably have a couple of more judges in the next 4 years.
Yeah, this is all he's running on with the evangelical crowd.
It could even be more than that. Could be 3 or 4. If you have a radical left group of judges, religion, I think, will be almost wiped out in America.
Why? What are you talking about? We have over 2,000 religions practiced in this country. This country protects your right to worship any God you want or none at all. What part of it is going to be wiped out? You just don't get to choose. You don't get to force other people to behave according to your religion.
Look at it, pro-life will be absolutely wiped out. So if you have that happening.
What do you mean pro-life will be absolutely wiped out? No, if women have choice whether or not to live or die based on the fact that they have a pregnancy, that doesn't wipe out pro-life. People can still be pro-life. They can still say, in that choice, make what I believe to be the moral choice. That's what being pro-life is. That's what being Christian is. If you're forced to become a Christian, that's not faith. If you were forced to get baptized, that's not baptism. If you're forced to be pro-life, then you're not pro-life. You're just not wanting to go to jail, or you're, you eliminate the morality.
Pro-life is going to be out.
Christianity is about the morality, not about the law of the land. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's.
What do you make of the state of the race right now? We've seen polls, even some friendly polls, showing you behind. Do you buy any of that?
You buy any of that? Facts and details?
I don't, because I see so much enthusiasm right now.
Right. Everybody in my office, and they only take me places. Like, I saw this woman enthusiastically giving me the finger when I was driving in Tulsa, and it was all over social media, and I'm like, that's enthusiasm.
I see so much enthusiasm, and a lot of it in
enthusiasms
terms of what you're talking about has to do with
the guy's like, enthusiasm?
The whole pro-life movement. A lot of it.
Yeah, you can't vote 2 times because you're excited. You only get one, and if a bunch of people aren't, there's like, really love you, but they only get to vote once. Not helpful.
But I think we're doing much better than we did in 16, and I think there's actually
No, you're not doing much better than you did in 16.
enthusiasm than there is in 16.
No, there isn't.
You think that?
I just think it. I think.
Why do you think that? Like, even he's like, where did you get that shit? And Trump's like, I just think it.
I feel it. Yeah. I mean, I see it.
I feel it. I see it. They only let me see that.
Now, we got hit with this horrible pandemic, but we've done a great job. We came up.
Yeah, great. 123,000 dead Americans
with
now?
Testing. Frankly, we test so much that it's almost unfair. When they say cases, we're 25 million tests, and other countries are barely even testing. So when it shows that we...
Yeah, but their hospitalizations and their death rates are going down because they are targeting and doing tracing. We need 100,000 people to test and trace. We've got 9,000 now?
Have more cases, but a lot of them are He's
like, no.
Well, a lot of them are things that we find. We find things to feed to the press.
We find things to feed to the press. It's not,
it's not that we have a lot of cases, that we find all of our cases.
Because I'm a big fan of testing, but we are at a level that nobody's ever even imagined before.
So I said, slow down the testing, and I was not kidding. I don't kid.
25 million. We're 20 million higher, approximately, than the next highest nation. So if you're at 20 million...
Yeah, but the next highest nation you're talking about, by the way, it's not true about China, which is, what are they testing, like 1 million people a week, a day? What is it? 500,000 we're doing? Yeah. So 1 million people a day in China. And he's talking about Germany. He keeps going back to Germany. Germany has, what, 1/5 the people we have?
Are you going
to... Not even, right? Under 1/5?
Find more cases, and then they're going to report, oh, there's more cases.
Yeah, we're worried about hospitalization and death rates. And see, the cases, there's a percentage of those. The more cases you have, more percentage of people who have to go to the hospital and who die. That wedge gets, as that gets bigger, the numbers expand. See how that works? And the number of cases that you find means people are spreading it.
But
the guy's like, sure.
In the end, we're doing the right thing.
At the Tulsa rally, when the media is hitting you on that, where you said, I told my staff, stop the testing. They're saying, was that tongue-in-cheek or?
No, it's semi-tongue-in-cheek. I say it
was semi-tongue-in-cheek.
All the time. I know some people thought it was tongue-in-cheek. It's unfair. We're doing so much testing.
No, it wasn't tongue-in-cheek, semi-tongue-in-cheek. He's literally defending what he said.
So much more than any other country. And to be honest with you, when you do more testing, you find more cases. And then they report our cases are through the roof. But other countries, many countries don't even test with real quality outside of, people that are very sick. So we go out and we test 25 million people, which is a lot. You never thought that was even possible. Most people didn't. And
sure they did. How many people get like a swab for strep throat every year? or the flu.
Could go up a lot higher than
He's not walking it back.
that, and I guess we are. But I tell my people it's a double-edged sword because we do so much
Yeah, so he definitely said, slow the testing down. It's making him look bad.
testing.
He's worried about how it makes it look.
Again, we have kids with sniffles, and all of a sudden we report a case, and they're in no danger whatsoever.
Yeah, except when they spread it to someone else, they're expressing virus. It means that other people can catch it. People who will end up in the hospital, who will die from it.
You know, if you look at the numbers, below 18, very few people are affected. The governor of New Jersey, who's a very good guy, but very liberal, that's okay.
Right.
He was telling me thousands of deaths, and they only had one under 18. Think of it. One.
Yeah, why New Jersey? Why? And by the way, all those people under 18 and all the people between 18 and 65 who don't die from it, spread it.
Young person who died under the age of 18 with thousands of deaths. So that tells you.
Yeah, thousands of deaths. That 18-year-old, everywhere they go, not wearing a mask, not thinking they're going to die, completely like following every description you make. It's all a big hoax. It's not important. You're not going to die from it. No big deal. And then they give it to people.
Their immune system or something is doing well. And the one person did have a medical problem.
But just to clear up, there wasn't a direct order, if you will, to staff to stop the testing.
No,
Okay,
but I
just
think I think we put ourselves at a disadvantage. I told my people. I said, we've gotten so good at testing. Number one, we have the best tests. Number two, we have the most tests. We test much more than any other nation. So you hear about all these cases.
You know, we don't think they listen to you, asshole.
So instead,
nobody actually thinks he said, slow the testing down, and they went, okay. Everybody went, what the, did he just say what I thought he said? Just ignore it. Like everything else.
25 million tests. Let's say we did 10 million tests. We'd look like we're doing much better because we'd have far fewer cases. You understand that?
No. The more cases we find, the better people feel because you know you can test and trace those areas. And you go, okay, we're getting a lot of cases here. People might want to wear masks. It's a warning to them that it's spreading in the community. If you wear masks, you'll break the chain and it won't continue to spread.
I wouldn't do that, but I will say this. We do so much more than other countries.
Yeah, he grew kind of like a side chin over here.
It makes us, in a way, look bad, but actually we're doing the right thing.
Speaking of,
in a way, look bad, but yeah, that's a good save. Nice face.
Oh, making you look bad. The mainstream.
Speaking of making you look bad, let me ask you a question.
Media, I put that in quotes. The liberal media has really hammered you since day one. Before
Day
when you
one.
came, the escalator,
Day
the
one.
escalator,
Before
right?
day one,
for
yeah.
sure. So
Before day one, you know, they used to make fun of me all the time. And why? Because I had a show that was a laughing stock, and people watched it because it was embarrassing that people who you would normally, you know, famous people you would think have a lot of power would be having like a lemonade stand, having a failed businessman like me telling them what to do. It was hilarious.
what about Fox News? What's going on with Fox News exactly? You've been very critical of that.
Yeah, I don't like what they're doing at Fox
Why is that?
News.
Why is that? Gee,
Because they keep telling me the truth.
They have people on that network that are horrible, vicious. You have people that work for Schumer. You have people that
What?
are
there's Schumer has a mole in Fox News.
unbelievably against us and viciously, and they spew lies. Commentators, I'm not happy with Fox. I will tell you that right now. People think I should be happy. I'm not happy with Fox at all. All I do is give good ratings, and frankly, and my supporters feel the same way. You know, there was a study the other day, and believe it or not, in the Washington Post.
Oh yeah, interesting. I believe it. So the Washington Post told you something, and you believe the Washington Post when they're talking about Fox, not your supporters being upset with Fox, but the rest of the time they're full of shit. So we're cherry picking now.
That I have possibly the strongest base in history, the history of politics. Okay, could be. And
you have the basest base.
My base hates what Fox News is doing. Compare them to the old days with Roger Ailes. Because
Yeah, you know, back in the day when Roger Ailes, you know, when you could You could sexually harass people.
Understand, we're against CNN and we're against MSDNC, which is,
See what I did there?
you know, right? You know what that is.
You know what that is? That's very clever what I did.
And they're two.
Oh, my ego is far bigger than his. Mine's genuine. Thanks, DJ, for noticing, by the way. My ego is far bigger than Trump's. He's actually got a self-esteem issue. Most of his stuff is bravado. I actually do like, the smell of my own brand, as you would say.
Horrible networks. And they don't put anything, they put nothing ever positive. Whereas Fox News wants to be politically correct all of a sudden.
Oh, it's terrible.
How they want to be, I think they want to be factually correct, which is the hard part.
So Fox News, I'm not happy with them, but that's okay, and they can do whatever they want.
I've got CBN, I've got OANN something.
I think my people understand it, and
My people.
I understand it, but Roger Ailes would have never let this happen.
No, never. There's so many women in charge over there now.
100% against, 100% those two. And you know, our people are the ones that got Fox to be in first place. The only one that doesn't know that is Fox. The Trump supporters do not like Fox. We have great people, Sean Hannity, Laura, Fox and Friends, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But you watch Fox, try watching Fox sometime over the weekend. It's like
it's the Fox weekend. That's the rough part.
Complete hit job during the day. During the day weekend.
During the day, it's terrible. We own the night.
It's like
then Tucker's reruns come on and I can breathe easy again.
A hit job.
It's a hit job where they did polls and they reported those polls. Horrible.
On President Trump. And the problem is you have other networks, the other two are, radical. Now you have other new ones come. Newsmax is doing a great job. OAN has been fantastic.
You guys?
Really fantastic. They've been great. But no, I'm not.
No mention of CBN? The guy's sitting right there.
Happy with Fox.
Let me ask you.
Let me ask you something real quick about Jesus.
I don't want to talk about the John Bolton book, but he did say something in that book.
I don't want to talk about John Bolton, but something from his book that you might want to...
About the media. He said something about you saying journalists should be jailed and then executed. I mean, you want to respond to that?
He made it.
No, he just made that up. It's all lies. It's lies, fake news, classified information. He should be thrown out for... Those were private conversations.
Look, he's admitted that he will lie. He's admitted that. There was a report that I saw where he will admit that he will lie in order to get the job done. I gave John Bolton, and he lied, I gave John Bolton a great opportunity. And by the way, many of the things he said, there were many other people in the room. Because it's not like I'm alone with one person.
Right.
I have
you're stupid enough to say these things blatantly out in the open.
a big delegation with me, and they've got a big delegation. And Steve Mnuchin came out, and Mike Pompeo came out, and Mick Mulvaney came out. Many people, they all came out, and they said it's a lie.
Just for the record, I have not come out. I'm still
a liar. I fired him. I got him out. He was no good. All he wanted to do was bomb people. Now, I don't mind having an opposing point of view, and frankly, I think I used him very well because when people saw him, they know he was sort of crazy, and maybe it helped me negotiate good deals, frankly. But he was terrible. He had no personality.
No, yeah, just a mustache.
He had no warmth.
No warmth. That was the problem with Bolton. He's just not. You would think somebody with a mustache that big.
I don't think I've ever seen this guy smile. Have you ever seen him smile? I said, John, do you ever smile? And he didn't know how to answer the question. No, John.
You hired him. You knew exactly who he was. Like, John Bolton was not a mystery.
John was washed up. And
that's why I picked him.
Took him, and I gave him something. He couldn't get Senate confirmed because they hated him. They hated him, and they thought he was a whack job.
Yeah. You mean they were right?
I asked him, do me a favor, tell me, are you still happy with the decision? You pushed it so hard to go into Iraq. He said, yes. I said, you're happy. We spent almost $8 trillion in the Middle East. Because
hey, we spent $6 trillion in the last 2 months.
For that decision. You think it was a good decision? Yes.
You think it was a good decision?
I said, this guy's bad. And then, of course, the Libyan
I asked him about the Libya model and the Iraq, and I said, this guy's bad. I need to hire him immediately.
model. You remember the Libyan model. One of the stupidest things ever said on television was said by John Bolton. So he was pretty much
my choice.
On early.
That I had no idea. Who the shit didn't know? So I'm bringing in somebody. We're thinking about bringing in Henry Kissinger. I don't know him that well, but I'm going to have a meeting with him, see what he's all about.
But we kept him around, and
yeah, you hired him.
He went out and wrote a book. And by the way, the judge made a tremendous statement. I mean, do you see what the judge said about the release of classified material? I think John Bolton's got a big problem. Plus, he's not going to be able to keep his money. I don't think there's a chance that he's going to be able to keep his money. So we'll see what happens.
I want to turn to evangelicals a little bit. One of the criticisms, and look, you've done a boatload for evangelicals, for sure. As a matter of fact, you've over-delivered for evangelicals. But
yeah, I agree.
Question.
You've over-delivered.
More than any president in history by a factor of 10.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would actually disagree with that.
Except for the whole, like, going to church and actually believing the shit, you know. As far as, I mean, evangelicals are more willing to be manipulated by a complete sinner full of shit than almost any other religious group. I mean, honestly.
Let me ask you this about the law and order president and balancing that with compassion, because the evangelicals that may want to go.
Yeah, that might be why your numbers are slipping, why a bunch of them are suddenly moving to Biden.
Away from you, a percentage or two will say they want to see more balance, especially with everything going on with George Floyd and coronavirus. They want to, so,
you know, humanity.
What is
the ones that actually believe the Bible?
It exactly maybe in the future, or what you've done, this administration, from a compassion standpoint, that people should be aware of?
Well,
oh, this will be good.
you have George Floyd,
yeah,
but you also had 14 people killed this weekend in Chicago.
Right.
So why would you be compassionate about those people? I mean, honestly.
So you got to balance them out. You got to say, wait a minute, we need law and order. And it's run, all of these problems, Seattle, Portland, Chicago, you could go to Oakland, you could go to Baltimore. What do they have in common? They're run by liberal
Gee, I wonder.
Democrats, just like Joe Biden. Our nation.
So the compassion question, you're just going to blow that part off.
Will go to hell if he gets elected. Your 401k.
What I said, go to hell.
Which are now setting records.
Your 401k.
Tell us about compassion. A lot of evangelicals are worried that you need to balance the law and order talk with compassion because people are really hurting out there, and some of them might move away. What do you have to say to that? Well, your 401k
will go down, maybe to nothing, maybe to dust.
Maybe to nothing, maybe to dust. You know, like it did under Clinton or Obama and when it recovered.
Because he's going to raise everybody's taxes. He has no idea what he's doing.
Taxes, if anything, you know, my compassion towards people is really, how's your 401k?
Anyway, you know that he didn't when he was in prime time 20 years ago. You know, he never got more than 1%. I used to call him 1% Joe. And then Obama took him off the trash heap. And this, it's a fluke. Nobody knows how this happened. He's running against these other people. Whether you like their views or not, they were competent. And he got through that whole mess, right?
Yeah.
And now he said...
Yeah, he won. Yeah, handily. Didn't have to spend a dime. Yeah. And he's getting a lot of popularity with evangelicals because he's a religious man, lost his wife and daughter in a car accident, lost his son to brain cancer, goes to church regularly, is a devout Catholic, had listening sessions in churches with black people while you were hiding in the bunker. Yeah, go ahead.
In a basement, and he doesn't want to come out.
He was on the street during the uprisings.
This is what we're going to have. If he got elected, China will own the United States.
So that's the compassion answer. That's the compassion answer.
I think you're the underdog in this race.
Do you think you're the underdog in this race? Oh, these are so good.
I don't know. I think we have.
I don't know. I think I'm winning, but it's a comeback of winning.
Tremendous support. I really do. I think it's the silent majority. There's a silent majority.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Silent majority. Definitely. Yeah. You know, like mega churches. Very silent majority.
happened last time. Remember, the people came out and everyone said, where did all these people come from? And it really is. It's a group of people that's massive, and they work, and they're smart, and they're brilliant, and they're this.
And they can't fill a 19,000 person stadium with 1 million tickets out the door?
And that everything is
Thanks, Rob.
Good. And many evangelicals are in that group. You know, I got a tremendous evangelical support. Christians.
It's Rob Glenn. If the polls keep going the way they're going, I'm cool with Sleepy Joe staying in bed until the Dem convention. Absolutely. I mean, literally, Biden might be the first person to literally coast to election in the modern era.
Incredible for me. It was incredible. And I think it should be better, because before I was talking, even you said, well, are you sure? And I said, I'm sure. But now I've done it. Again, they said I'm the most pro-life president in history by far, more so than Ronald Reagan. And so now I've established my credentials. Before I was just talking.
Would you put Gorsuch on the Supreme Court and put Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court, and you write your briefs like with crayons and hammers?
You ought to ask.
If anybody puts a bill about Roe v. Wade in front of the Supreme Court and it gets shot down, it'll be me. Maybe they're going to count on the fact that you put a bunch of judges in place and then work on the next person, maybe get somebody who's pro-life legitimately, who hasn't got like 3 porn star abortions in their past.
Biden, or ask his campaign, give a list of judges, see where they stand on pro-life, see where they stand on it. You will not be able to get that list, because they're going to put an absolute radical lefty in there in the Supreme Court.
They're not putting a radical lefty on the Supreme Court. They're going to put Hillary on the Supreme Court. Can you imagine? Can you imagine his wig out?
I want to ask,
and other judges,
and other places, and also they're
on the evangelical front. I've asked Sarah Sanders this, Mike Pompeo. They all give me the same answer. I say, was President Trump put in office for such a time as this? Did God put President Trump in office for such a time as this?
Yes, he did. This is the time, the end times. He is the perfect president to oversee the end of the world and us all being sucked up to Jesus.
I never asked you that question. What do you think?
Well, I don't know what they said specifically.
They said yes.
Okay, because I have had, Ben Carson said the same thing. You know, Ben Carson came to me because he ran a very effective campaign, and he did a good job. He really did. You know, he came in one of the top people, and he said to me, you know you're going to win. I said, Ben, I'm running against you. What are you telling me? He said, you're going to win because God put you here for this occasion.
Oh, God. We're now at like Martin Sheen in Dead Zone. The missiles are away. Hallelujah. I had a vision.
I said, what a lovely thing to say. That was the first one that I heard it from, Ben Carson. And it was during the campaign.
Here's what you do. When someone says that to you, you go, that's very sweet. And then you walk away going, cuckoo.
And I was running against him, and he was saying, I'm going to win. Mm-hmm. He's a very high-quality guy. He's done a great job in the administration, too.
Do you buy what he was saying?
I almost don't even want to think about it, because you know what? All I'm going to do is, I hope it's true. All I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best, and part of what I'm doing my best on is for the religious community, beyond evangelical. Evangelical is a very big part. It's very important to me.
Super important. But also other Christianese and Jews, also them. You know, all religions, both of them.
Great support.
I like both kinds of music, country and Western.
I was so honored when Franklin Graham said that his father voted for me. And that was something that Billy Graham has never announced who he was voting for. But Franklin Graham said his father voted for him. He went public with it, as you know. To me, that was a big moment, because I have such respect for Franklin and for the family, and Billy Graham is...
Not enough to read the Bible, but, you know, I respect the giant organization they put together, and it's amazing how much money they have. And it's real money, not my fake money. And they don't pay taxes. I mean, I don't pay taxes, but wow.
Billy Graham is Billy Graham, right? But when he said...
Well said.
His last vote was for me, and his father never announced who he was voting for. Would never talk about it.
Billy filled it out for him.
No, I think I have great.
Yes,
support.
thank you for the super hearts, you guys.
Hidden support. people in our country that don't riot, that don't protest, that don't, they work hard. They never had a voice until I came, meaning over the last long period of time. We call them the...
Yeah, they never, they know how to protest against the right things, like health care.
Forgotten men and women. They were the forgotten. They were very successful. They do a great job.
Name one of them. Name somebody's name. Give somebody's name. The forgotten men and women. Say somebody's name. Say Thomas somebody. I met him in da-da-da. Name somebody, the forgottens.
They have everything, but they were forgotten by the politicians. They showed up in 16. I think they're going to show up in larger numbers in 20.
My last question, because I said I would ask about the deep state, which has been after you for ever.
Yeah, the deep state, which is, of course, the devil.
A long time. On Obama and the spying situation, this idea that they were spying on your campaign, you've been asked before about what crime he would have potentially committed, but I remember you talking to Doug
Treason.
Reed. Well,
Treason.
Treason. Obama committed treason. That's what it was.
I was going to ask
It's
you.
treason. Look,
It's treason.
Look.
It's treason. Totally treason. We need him shot before he starts advising Biden on how to win a campaign.
That's
when
what
I came out a long time ago.
That's what I thought. I thought, we should accuse the first black president of treason and recommend that what's the punishment for treason? I mean, honestly.
I said they've been spying on my campaign.
No, they were spying on Russia, and because former members of the GRU were coordinating with the IRA, the Internet Research Agency, to manipulate our election, and they were spending money on that, and your people called them and coordinated stuff. Thanks, Osama number 5.
I said they've been taping, and that was in quotes, meaning a modern-day version of taping. It's all the same thing, but...
A modern-day version of taping. There's no tapes. I don't know if you know that. They were chipping me. I've been chipped. I have a chip in my neck. They're following me around like James Spader in The Blacklist.
Modern-day version. But
it was a modern day.
They've been spying on my campaign. I told you that a long time ago.
It doesn't, and you don't need things to be true.
Turned out I was right. Let's see what happens to him now. Durham is... I never met Durham because I want to stay out of it because otherwise it's going to look political. But Durham, as you know, is a highly respected person. And Bill Barr is doing a great job as Attorney General.
He's my personal Roy Cohn. And Roy Cohn, you can't find someone more evangelical than Roy Cohn.
See what they come up with. But they don't have to tell me. All I have to do is read the papers, the insurance policy. In case she doesn't win, we got an insurance policy. Well, that was all the stuff that we went through over the last, let's say, 2.5 years. Now we caught him. We caught him called Strzok.
No, you didn't.
And Page, the two lovers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're on a Christian broadcasting network.
Brennan and Clapper, the way they lied.
Democrats can't stand Barr.
Comey.
Bill Barr.
Yeah, no, they can't, because he's a liar.
They just...
They can't stand who?
Bill Barr. They just think he's pulling...
You know why? Because he's doing such a good job.
Mm-hmm.
As my Roy Cohn.
Because he's law and order, but he's got them in his crosshairs. And now we have to see what's going to happen. I will say this, if it were reversed, and if the other side sat, we're at the Oval Office, right in that chair behind the Resolute desk, and it was the opposite.
Yeah.
2 years ago, 25 people would have been convicted, and they would be sent to jail for 50 years.
No, actually. I mean, did you see what happened after the Iraq War?
And by the way, if it were 100 years ago or 50 years ago...
Oh, we're going to do a shooting? They'd have been shot?
They would have been executed.
Right. Okay, so now we're calling for the execution of the first black president. Cool. Okay. Wrap it up, everybody. That's we'll just hit it hard on Monday.
Different time. We're in a different time. You understand what I mean by that? They spied on the opposing party's campaign. And
no, they spied on Russia, and the opposing party was coordinating with Russia.
Caught them. And I just hope I get tremendous evangelical Christian support.
That's the only reason I'm doing this interview. I'm even thinking about, we'll see, but I might have a meeting next week with one of the Corinthians.
Because, and I'm not saying this as a bragging thing.
No, God forbid.
Nobody has done more for religion than
Uh,
I have. Look what I've done in Israel, which is a big thing with the evangelicals.
Tier A, tier A.
In many respects,
Tier A, top notch, top notch.
it's more important to the evangelicals than to Jewish people in this country.
That's right, because it's going to bring about the return of Christ to Armageddon, and all the Jews will have their throats slit, and then we can all ascend naked into heaven in this weird kind of nudist colony version of heaven that evangelicals have. It's super great.
But look what I've done with the capital of Israel. You know, when you
The capital?
go into Jerusalem, what I've done, every president said that
Did he move? You mean moving the embassy? You think he moved the capital?
we're going to make Jerusalem
Is that what you think's happening?
the capital of Israel. And then when they got into office, they didn't do it. When I say every, many for decades.
They don't have the right to make any city the capital of another country.
All been
Some people were saying they were going to make Cologne the capital of Germany, and they always promised this, and then
campaign, and I understand why, because when I got into
Nobody actually said they were going to make Jerusalem the capital of Israel.
office,
What are you talking about?
as soon as they thought I was even considering
He means move the embassy. This is weird.
it, I was called by so many world leaders asking me in the strongest of terms not to do it. And they all changed their mind. Not that they changed their mind, they just didn't do it. I did it.
they totally said this, and then, not that they said this, they didn't say this, but they said it.
Golan Heights, I did. You know, probably the biggest thing I did for Israel was Iran, breaking up that horrible deal made by President Obama, $150 billion, $1.8 billion in cash. So I've done a lot for religion, and I've done a lot for the evangelicals, and I hope we can have your support. And if Biden gets even 1%, it would be terrible.
Yeah, because you're losing 6% of the people you had before,
And
and you already lost the entire popular vote last time.
you can forget about the pro-life movement because it will.
You just, okay, look, you got one thing, and I'm going to hammer that home, even though they believe in choice, and they believe it being a moral choice, and they want women to survive so that they can have more babies, because a dead woman has never had a child, except, I don't know, I don't read the Bible. Did that ever happen? That sounds like something.
Be over.
Mr. President, your time is valuable.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dave.
Thank you
No, it's not.
so much.
You could be golfing, Mr. President. Good God. Hold on. Yeah, that's paused. There we go. And we'll open up the chat on that. Oh, I always set up my green screen, and there's always these like remnant versions of the camera gets moved every time because I have to get out of here. There you go. There it is. See that? See that like extra. I work on guys. I set it up and then it's so weird. Just and literally, that was like bathing in a sewer. Literally, he is begging for evangelical support right now because there was a big article in the Washington Post. This is why he did like 4 interviews day before yesterday. Literally, he did this because it came out that a lot of evangelicals are starting to jump ship for Biden because he's legit religious. Actually believes. He literally, he's Catholic. He prays. He is actually a genuinely religious person. Whereas Trump, like, they know he's a useful idiot for their cause. But some of them actually are starting to come around to the fact that they're being used and that he's using the pro-life issues and other stuff to siphon the rights and privileges of being an American off, and he's going to basically just using it to enrich himself. So, fascinating, wouldn't you say? Begging and threatening. If you don't vote for me, radical left judges will destroy us all. That's exactly it. So hideous. I know. I feel like I need a shower too. But this is, he's always going to need this. This is part of his base. And that's why he's, they're not fans of Fox News. The fact that he's losing Fox and that they are retreating to Newsmax and OAN shows like how much deep shit they're in. this time around, and it does not look good. The polls right now, there was like the new one came out. Let's see, Biden, Trump polling like this. On let's see which the new one. Polls in Wisconsin and Ohio bring good news for Joe Biden. Biden takes lead over Trump in 2020 presidential poll in New York Times. Fortune, the coronavirus pandemic is changing political polling as we know it. There you go. Let's see. Polls show, this is Politico too, 5 hours ago. Let's go to this. Polls show Biden climbing past Trump in Wisconsin and Ohio. Yeah, this is why Trump is doing all these there you go. Let's see. Former Vice President Joe Biden has widened his lead over President. By the way, you guys enjoy seeing what apparently they think I'm searching for in the weird little ads that come up while I'm doing it. Although most people are looking for masks these days that are stylish. The new ones with the plastic visor, it's a good time. Right? It's good against spit talkers, I think. So in Wisconsin, where Trump eked out a narrow victory in 2016 to flip the state from blue to red, Marquette University Law School poll found the former vice president up 8 percentage points over Trump, with 49% to 41%. That's 4 outside the widest margin of error. In Ohio, a state Trump carried by 8 points in 2016, which is voted for the eventual presidential winner for half a century, a new poll from Quinnipiac found 46 of respondents favor Biden compared to 45 who favor the president. It's too narrow for my blood, but it's growing. Both surveys underscore that Biden's ascendance in Midwest states that will be a key to either candidate's victory in November. Both Wisconsin and Ohio were won by former President Barack Obama in 2012 before flipping to Trump in 2016. The two polls build on a raft of national polling in recent weeks showing Biden with a growing lead over Trump as the president grapples with responding to the coronavirus pandemic. Is that what he's doing? Is he grappling? I think he's more like groping it. The ensuing economic recession and mass protests for racial justice. One such poll released Wednesday morning showed the former vice president with a commanding 14-point lead over Trump nationwide. Which one was that? Oh, this is a New York Times article. No wonder he's freaking out about it. Biden takes dominant lead as voters reject Trump on virus and race. You think? There you go. 50 to 36. New York Times Upshot Siena College poll. Now, 14% say other. Those people are, if they're Democrats or even have voted Democrat in the past, they're complete assholes. If they're former Trump voters who just can't bring themselves to vote for a Democrat, that just speaks to how narrow Trump's genuine base is. This is the base boiled down to its, leaving the pot on the stove. Thanks for subbing, DJ. Joseph R. Biden Jr. has taken a commanding lead over President Trump in the 2020 race, building a wide advantage among women and non-white voters and making deep inroads with some traditionally Republican-leaning groups that have shifted away from Mr. Trump following his ineffective response to the coronavirus pandemic. According to a new national poll of registered voters by the New York Times and Siena College, Mr. Biden is currently ahead of Mr. Trump by 14 percentage points, guarding 50% of the vote compared with 36% of for Mr. Trump. That is among the most dismal showings of Mr. Trump's presidency and a sign that he is the clear underdog right now in his fight for the second term. By the way, that's why that reporter from CBN asked him the underdog question, was because of this article. Mr. Biden is currently Mr. Trump has been an unpopular president for virtually his entire time in office. He has made few efforts since his election in 2016 to broaden his support beyond the right-wing base that vaulted him into office, with only 46% of the popular vote and a modest victory in the Electoral College.
We won probably the greatest victory in the greatestness of the greatnessness.
But among a striking cross-section of voters, the distaste for Mr. Trump has deepened as his administration failed to stop a deadly disease that crippled the economy and then has responded to a wave of racial justice protests with angry bluster and militaristic threats. Let's see. If 2020 presidential election were held today, whom would you vote for? All registered voters plus 14 points. Women, Biden's winning plus 22. Men, he's winning plus 3. Age, He's 18 to 34, which is a very active voter group, 34. 35 to 49, he's winning by 23. 50 to 64, he's down by 1. They lean Trump in that weird window. 65 and older, Biden goes +2. And only +1 towards Trump in the 50 to 64 category. That's a 3 or 4 plus or minus. Let's see, race and education. Black +74, Hispanic +39, white college educated +28, white in general +1, still within the margin of error, not where Trump wants to be. White non-college +19, that's down, by the way. Party identification, 85% of, +85 Democrat, +21 independent. Republican +85. And notice how when they polled people, when they called and said, who do you identify with party-wise, they got 466 people who said they were Democrats, 401 people who said they were independents, and only 341 who said they were Republicans in this poll. If you look at the numbering on there, which means fewer people are identifying as Republican, therefore the +85 and the percentage is less meaningful. 85% of 341 is less than 85% of 466. And that's also a number that's getting bad for him. So very liberal, +83 for Biden. By the way, you 17%, go pound sand. Somewhat liberal, +69, moderates, +33. So there's people who view themselves as moderate in the middle. Like, he's still up by +33. There's still a bunch that refer themselves, to Trump or whatever. There's like 150 of the 332 that consider themselves moderates who are going for Trump. But overwhelming, that number, that's the vacillating number. That the moderate zone is the overlapping with the independents. Somewhat conservative, Trump only gets +32. Very conservative, he's got +73. You consider yourself very conservative, and you're getting, whatever, 17%-ish, depending on the margin of error, are still going with Biden in this situation. Like, this is nuts. Arlene Miles, 75 of Denver, said she'd been a Republican for nearly 6 decades before switching her registration to independent earlier this year during Trump's impeachment trial. Ms. Miles said that when Mr. Trump was first elected, she had resolved to give him, quote, give him a chance, but had since concluded that he and his party were irredeemable. I was one of those people who stuck by Nixon until he was waving goodbye, Ms. Miles said. I thought I was a good Republican and thought they had my values, but they have gone down the tubes these last few years. Ms. Miles said she planned to vote for Mr. Biden, expressing only one misgiving. I wish he was younger. Literally, she wants to make sure he gets 2 terms out of him. Most stark may be Mr. Biden's towering advantage among white women with college degrees who support him over Mr. Trump by 39 percentage points. In 2016, exit polls found that the group preferred Mrs. Clinton to Mr. Trump by just 7 points. 7 points. Understand this. She won the popular vote by 3 million votes, and she only beat Trump in this particular group by 7 percentage points. By the way, women are getting college degrees at a much higher rate than men. So the volume of these people versus men without a college degree or men with a college degree is higher. So Biden is getting 39 percentage points over this. I mean, wrap your head around that number. 52% of whites under 45 said they support Mr. Biden, while only 30% say that it supported Mr. Trump. Whites under 45, 52% to 30%. And by the way, that window of between that 30 and 52 where they're not sure if they do or whatever, that's a bunch of like indie non-voters who think, the Antifa crowd, and then hard left progressives who are like, I don't know, I'm going to show them, I'll vote for the Libertarian Party or the Green Party, or I'm writing in Jill Stein again. Tom Diamond, 31, a Republican in Fort Worth, Texas, said he planned to vote for Mr. Trump, but would do so with real misgivings. Well, who gives a shit how you feel about it? Your vote counts. He called the president a poor leader who had mishandled the pandemic, and said Mr. Biden seemed like a good guy you can trust. But Mr. Trump held views closer to his own on the economy, healthcare, and abortion, even though he's untrustworthy and he's a poor leader. Part of you feels icky voting for him, Mr. Diamond said, but definitely from a policy perspective, that's where my vote's going to go. These are people just showing up in a bad season with the jersey on, even just because they own the seats, the season tickets. What's striking, though, is that even among white seniors, one of Mr. Trump's strongest constituencies, he has damaged himself with his conduct. About 2/5 of whites over 65 said they disapprove of Mr. Trump's handling of both the coronavirus and race relations. That's why he's saying we should have used the boat for people in old folks' homes, even though he's basically going, people under 18 have very little problem. I mean, it's mostly old people who are going to die anyways. This in and of itself is just nuts. His approval rating is still narrowly positive on the issue of the economy, with 50% of voters giving him favorable marks compared with 45% saying the opposite. That's still within the margin of error either direction, and that's his key issue. Should the fall campaign become a referendum on which candidate is better equipped to restore prosperity after the pandemic has subsided, that would give Mr. Trump a new opening to press his case. No, because his tax cuts for individuals were temporary and the tax cuts for corporations were permanent. That's a case worth making. And Biden is no radical on the economy. People will just feel like he's a good shepherd and will leave it the F alone for the most part and just make sure people start paying their fair share. He's also, I mean, when you talk about student debt and some of the other stuff that he's on board with, there's a bunch of unleashed funds that are going to go to that multinational banks aren't going to like, but the companies in the country where that money is going to be spent instead will like it a lot. So, crazy. Nearly 3/5 of voters disapprove of Mr. Trump's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. And here's the thing. If you think he's mishandled the coronavirus pandemic, how do you think he's going to handle the inevitable catastrophes that affect any presidency? You think he's going to handle a Yellowstone eruption very well? Do you think he's going to handle two more, like a double hurricane season very well? What if Russia enters Poland? You think he's going to handle that well? If he's handled the coronavirus this pathetically, when he had everything, when the cupboards were bare because you left them bare for 3.5 years, even though they weren't bare, or the pandemic response team, which he dismantled specifically, you think if Russia's actually nukes somebody after the removal of the START treaty, that he's going to handle that well? Is there a crisis anywhere that the King bankruptcy, that the debt vulture that is Donald Trump, is there anything he would handle well? Next summer, they're going to blow up his Atlantic City casino that's been sitting derelict all this time. There is no emergency where you can trust his response on this. None. That video of the poor older white protester being knocked down and getting his skull cracked for no reason, left with blood pooling under his head, may have turned many elderly voters alone. Yeah, along with the fact that he's like, most people, young people, don't even get this, and they're the productive ones or whatever. We got to open our country because these folks, most of them were going to die anyways. Like, who talks like that about Americans who didn't have to die? Most of the people, I mean, if you're going to be in a tall building like the Twin Towers, you got to expect some negative attention. I mean, it was already bombed once. If you put an office in there, you're just basically just playing with the idea that you're going to get killed. I mean, can you imagine his response to 9/11 or another one? Like, brutal. So, regardless, you guys. Let's see. Yeah, we'll wrap it up now so you guys can get on with your Wednesday evening. I appreciate you guys showing up every day. We're here every day. I'll be here tomorrow, 3 o'clock. In general, we're 3 to 5-ish, ballpark kind of zone. So I appreciate you guys showing up every day. Thank you guys for the super chat. Thank you, and Wendy, thanks for following. NCIS2 Doctor Who, thanks for the bits. We appreciate you jumping right in there. Osama, number 5. Mexican Kringle, Rob Glenn, bless your heart. Jose is Jose, thanks for the follow. Scooter, Doc, Joyce, Bean Toes, ABO 807. How should I pronounce that? What do you want to be called? Let me know. Vince, thanks for the follow. Scream and Cheese, thanks for the follow. Lisa Miyamura, thank you. Cat Cookie. Beth Brazel, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for keeping us entertained during this strange dystopian nightmare. That's what I'm here to do. We just mock this fool relentlessly, and we have a good time doing it, and we regain our sense of composure and silliness in the face of something that is incredibly serious. And for everybody who comes rolling in here thinking this is disrespecting the president, you're disrespecting the president. No. I respect the presidency, our democracy, our flag, and our country. And I don't like that this ass clown is using it to fill his family's pockets while destroying the rule of law in our country. He's a scumbag. He's gross. I think evangelicals who support him are doing it holding their nose, and if they can do that, then their religious beliefs are a lie, and they know it, and it must be a horrible, horrible thing to live with every single day. That does not mean I'm anti-Christian by any means. So live with that. And like I said, when he talks about we need to put people in jail for burning our flag, we need to make it illegal. No, our flag has its value because it represents freedom of speech. It's the abundant freedom of speech that is represented by our flag. The fact that you can burn it is part of that. That's what makes it worthwhile. That's what makes it different and special compared to other flags. Because our flag can take it on the chin. Our flag is the Obi-Wan Kenobi of flags. If you strike it down, you only make it more powerful. That's the point. Because being the adult in the room, being the biggest person, being the most honorable in face of being dishonored is part of what makes our Constitution and our flag valuable. And I always stand for that. I do not care for this man and his creepy trophy hunting asshole sons and his weird grifter daughter who's trying to use the China deal and the fact that they were slipshod with their control of a pandemic to better herself and get trademarks and patents in that country. So I will always stand for this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic, of which I consider Trump to be one. I haven't decided yet whether he's foreign or domestic. We'll find that out over time. If you go by all the material that's coming out and the evidence that's presented, it's looking increasingly foreign. I'm just saying. And after this, I would argue Trump will spend most of his time out of the country. That's my prediction. Much like the former president of Ukraine who lives in Russia under Putin's protection, just like the former prosecutor that Rudy Giuliani was buddying up with. So, yeah. Anyways, vote.org, please, everybody, make sure your registration is complete. Pass it on. Plan on driving somebody to the polls. Share the voting experience with your family. Even if it's somebody who you think is going to vote against you on issues, we here, I don't know what other people think, we believe in voting. We believe in one person, one vote. We believe everyone should have the right to vote and have that readily available to them. We don't believe in one polling place for 600,000 people, that kind of stuff. We don't believe in limiting people's right to vote, even if they vote the other way. I would rather lose an argument legitimately than have it stolen because the other side is afraid of the reality. And I don't want my side doing it any more than I want their side doing it. So if you're watching the show and you're hate watching and you don't like what I say about Trump and you're like, my president, he's been tortured. Jesus gave him a mandate. He made Jerusalem the capital of America. If you believe that, I still want you to be able to have the right to vote. Vote your conscience, vote your reality, vote your beliefs, but vote. Everybody. If you're an American citizen and you have the right to vote, vote. Vote.org. That's my point. That's my point. all this. So and again, I don't care if you disagree with me. And by the way, if you're trolling and you show up in the trolling, thank you for boosting my numbers and adding to our numbers today. We, the numbers of people in the chat and the number of viewing, because I actually get to see those too, have been growing almost daily since I started this 2 months ago, just running the daily presser and stuff. So I appreciate all the hate watchers too. So there you go. And if you're like, I don't believe in voting because the Republicans and the Democrats are the same people, you're the worst. You're officially the worst. If you don't believe in voting and you're an American citizen, you are a tick complaining about the dog. That's what you are. And fuck the Chaz and fuck the Chop and fuck Antifa and come at me, bro. And you guys are awesome and I adore you. And I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you, Joe Carter. You guys have a great night. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Go eat something. Go eat something healthy. I'm about to go have my one meal of the day. I think I'm gonna pop on. Should I do a show about the one meal a day stuff and the workout stuff? Because I'm back on the horse completely with all that stuff. Because obviously at the beginning of this there was a lot of flexibility. So if you guys want to hear about that, message me either here or on my website at halsparks.com. Leave it in the comments below, or tweet me, that kind of stuff. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you very, very soon. Rest well, get plenty of sleep, take care of yourself, and remember, wherever you go, I'm there watching you, and I believe in you. Hallie is always here, knowing full well that you miss me when I'm gone, and I get back as soon as I can. I just, I don't want to leave you guys behind. And
we need you.
I know.
Hell, I need you.
Well,
I'm a mess without you. I miss you so damn much.
It's true.
I miss being with you.
Well,
I miss being near you. I miss your laugh. I miss your scent. I miss your musk.
Well,
when this all gets sorted out, I think you and me should get an apartment together.
Okay, if you insist, but only, for a short while. I got it, it's a little early in the season for me to start, taking offers. I'm just saying. But, and we'll have more kittens. We'll have a kittens update. There you go. All right, bye, everybody. Take care of yourself. We'll see you soon.
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
I drank what?
All right. Stop right there, and I'll bring back the sun.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Something strange happened to me this morning.
Was it a dream where you see yourself standing in sort of sun god robes on a pyramid with 1,000 naked women screaming and throwing little pickles at you?
No.
Why am I the only person that has that dream?
Shop smart, shop S-smart.
Would you classify that as a launch problem or a design problem?
See this? This is my boomstick!
This is my sister. You can all have her. I hear she's very good.
Wah, wah, wee, wah!
The sportos, the motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads, they all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
That was really cool, by the way.
It's good to be the king.
Nice. Not thrilling, but nice.
And when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what? We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Carrot. Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused. We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen. You have nobody guarding your potatoes. You have nobody guarding your potatoes.
That was really cool, by the way.
You have nobody guarding your potatoes.
Who wants some? Who's next?
Every minute you don't tell us why you're here, I cut off a finger.
Mine or yours?
I was thinking of...
Damn!
Would you classify that as a launch problem or a design problem? Would you classify that as a launch problem or a design problem? I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said, I drank what?
Man, I'm tired of being right. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
Just looking around here, I can tell you're a genuinely dirty person.
Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was.
See this? This is my boomstick!
Nice. Nice. Not thrilling, but nice.